Hello, everyone. Welcome back for some more Mystic Monday. We are back for part 2 of Riven. And last time we were doing Riven, I had some technical difficulties. So now I'm being a little bit leery that something's going on. So if you notice anything wrong with my setup or the game or whatever, just let me know, because I might need to look into that. Still getting a lot of this streaming stuff figured out, you know what I'm saying? Alrighty. Now, where was I last time? I should have checked before I got on. Ah, yeah. So I was about to figure out, or start figuring out, how to do the, like, getting to the next island, basically. Sir, let's do it. I remember we had been in here doing all this stuff. We already got into that room, which took me a lot longer the first time I played this. Turn the game down just slightly. Okay. Now my head doesn't feel like it's going to explode. Let me know if that's okay for you guys, though. I remember there's something about this room that helps. So when you're in here and you talk or do anything, it basically projects you into the temple out there. So there's a 3D projection of yourself out and about. So we've got that door open. But to actually get to the next island, we need the thing called a maglev. I think that's what they called it in this game. Ah. I meant to go in there, not close the door. Apparently that's the way the cookie's gonna crumble. Okay. Sorry about the distraction. I was just checking to see if I can see messages. So this is where the maglev comes in. That's the track for it, of course. I thought there was something, though, where we had to trick a person to bring it, but it looks like we just gotta hit the button. I was misremembering, apparently. But, I mean, it has been a hot minute since I played this. So if you had the original game on the DVDs, when you get to this part was when you needed to pull out the next DVD. Because once you got in here and headed to another island, basically each island was on its own disc. And then away we go. coaster, roller coaster. Let's see, is there a way to adjust transitions? Let's do best. While we're here, we may as well save. There we go. This is the point where you actually get to see the slideshow, because it's actually like a slideshow. So yeah, we are at 11 or 12 followers. I think 12 right now. So if you guys get us up to 15, the 15th gets a special something. I still need to decide what. Okay. So that symbol on the back is a dunny number. And to figure this game out originally, you had to learn the dunny number system, which is a base 25. You know, binary's base 2. Our number system is base 10. The dunny number system is base 25, and it's all these little symbols. I remember some of them, but not all of them. So I'm probably going to have to relearn it. And then these little spheres make a sound like one of the animals that are on the island. So you have to correlate the number with the animal. And there's going to be a few more of those around. I always wanted to get a closer look at this area right here because it looks almost like it should have been like a cave painting or something, but I think it really is just like a discoloration of the rock. Okay, and I believe that just calls the maglev if it's not on, excuse me, this side. Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot this cool little tidbit. So the sphere makes up the eyeball of this creature. And it's the creature that makes that sound that sphere makes. Thought that was a pretty cool design choice. Alright, so now we have two options. We can go up or we can go down. I don't know if anybody's currently watching. But if you're watching, I'll take suggestions on things, where to go and whatnot. I always loved these little critters. I don't remember what they were called, but had a soft spot for them for a long time. I would often just come to this part of the game and watch them like a weirdo. Hey, what the fuck you doing here, man? This was our rock. I know, language, right? Sorry. And there's another animal shape. That's the bark. So it looks like a whale-like creature. It makes that kind of sound, right? And you actually get to see all the animals that this references at different points in the game. There's a way to go left and a way to go straight. So now there's going to be... Yeah. So that's one of the people of Riven warning everybody else that a stranger has approached. And of course now everybody is gone. They have run for cover! This is part of the village over here. And this whole area is kind of a big puzzle. See, I know there's a way to... I think there was a way. Look up at the thingy. I want to see up! Okay, that's not going to happen. Alright, so let's go down the other path. Oop. There we are. So I forget what you see if you come this way. Wait a minute. Ah! Okay, I just tricked myself. It looks right here like there should be another path. And I thought when I turned that way, I was looking down it, but I'm looking back, so never mind. Silly me. I get lost in a point and click adventure game. Okay, now that is the way we came from the maglev. So this is the path we could have gone if we'd gone up. And there is a large thing stuck in the ground over here. Almost like a big sword or knife or something. I love how they had the detail of, like, you know, there's the little splinters sticking up and there's insects buzzing around. You know, this came a long way from the last game, which it's kind of a difficult thing to compare since I played the 2021 version instead of the OG. You can't really see how much of an improvement it is. Maybe someday, if it's popular, I'll play the OG. I was hoping I could see a better shot of this. Okay. Couple paths. So, you can see over there is the island we were on a little bit ago. We've been inside that big gold orb. So this is kind of where Cho fell to. This is that temple that we were rotating around. Over here is where we found the maglev. We rode all the way over here. A nice little view of that. I like this axe, by the way. Oh, and if we come over here, you can actually get down in this. And I think that's how you check out one of the other islands. But we'll come back to that. And then here's this awesome little beetle. If you move your cursor toward him, he automatically takes off. You don't have to click or anything. He's shy. Oh, and this outline right here, I always used to think looked like a person. I kept expecting it to mean something. I like this place. There's another big knife. Yeah, I like it down here. The blue and the glowing blue mushrooms and the ambiance. There's a lot to check out in this game compared to the other one. But for right now, I know we basically just got started, but I think I'm gonna take off for just a second. Got to grab something before I got into the game, so we'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, down here by this totem, I got stuck here for quite a while the first time around. I like this music. It's so, like, creepy but cool. And then it's, you know, got all the nature sounds layered in. I don't doubt that this game is part of the reason why I like ASMR, but anyway. I kept thinking this looks like it has to be a secret entrance of some kind. And I could never figure out how. I thought maybe you had to pull on one of these. It was kind of a nightmare figuring it out. I would go back and forth, back and forth. And now I shall share with you a great secret that is somewhat obvious if I had thought about it. Right here. That's how you get in the secret entrance. So now I can call him Maglev. And then this elevator takes me toward it. Actually, I think it can go up or down. So down here is where we were earlier. Over there's the totem. So these large spinning things are actually where there are some linking books that we're going to need. And as it rotates with the symbols on the outside, there's this scope, which is using as like a animation. And these circles with the symbols moving inside, each frame is actually a dunny symbol for a different color. So you also have to learn the color system. You'll notice that one of them kind of freezes and is yellow. And the reason is if we hit this button at that exact moment... Yep, I'm too slow. Maybe there's something else I gotta do first? Well. Maybe there was something else I have to do first. Oh, no, there it is. You just gotta be really flippin' particular. So now, we've unlocked it. These are some very elaborate systems that Gehn has set up for protecting his linking books. So now you have to put in the right code to actually get to the book, which you can see right there. And I don't have the code, of course. But there are several of these locked mechanisms like that that we can get to. So this chair is actually made from the skull of one of the whale creatures I referenced earlier. Hey, thanks, Slightly. So here we are up above looking down at the village we were at earlier. I think we were here somewhere? Seems about right. So of course, you know, if you've never played this, you wouldn't know what most of this is, but this is the village. This is sort of a secret entrance. I guess not exactly secret, but it's a special. Yeah, we'll explain that later. This is the schoolhouse where Gehn teaches the people of Riven Dunny, you know, how to speak it, how to write it, all that stuff. This is the way to get up here. And these, once again, are, I believe, parts of those whale creatures. I know there's something you have to do up here to get that unlocked. And then the water, you might have noticed these strange shapes. Like here and here and there. So those are actually places where the water has opened up to make, well, you'll see in a bit. And there's going to be some interesting journal reading here in a little bit. Ah, yes. There we go. So that closes that. There's a way to get the rope down. That I don't remember. There's another one of those sound stations that warns people. You look down, I forget. I think that was... Okay. Anyway. I forgot how much of a labyrinth this place is. There's a lot of places to keep track of. Yeah, so this takes you down to where the maglev is. It's kind of surreal playing this again, because I spent a lot of time on this game the first time I played it. And, but that was decades ago at this point. I thought there was a way to get out once you turned. Alright, but I feel like I haven't explored this island enough to actually merit going on. But I guess part of the challenge I'm struggling with is the fact that I don't remember the answers to all of the puzzles, and there are even parts that I've already seen where I'm like, oh, I didn't remember that until I saw it just now. But then I'm kind of sort of doing things out of order, I guess. Because I'm just like, oh, I can go over here. That'd be so cool. Hello, Mr. Totem, I missed you. But you know, the first game was all just still images in a slideshow, and the video was very small. The audio was there. But Riven, like, for a lot of people who've played it, and if you're one of them, you know what I'm talking about. It holds a very special spot because even today, a lot of the stuff in the game is still pretty. It's not rendered in full 3D in front of you. And they put some really cool details, like that little girl, you know? Like, they couldn't do that in the first game. And they made that effort in this one. They had actual actors who were on a green screen. And, you know, at that time, games didn't, you know, that was new. I mean, it's nothing now, but it was new then. So right above us up here is where that that elevator chair type thing was. This is the way back to the tree stumps. So yeah, if we head back down this way. Oh, I love these blue lamps, you know, just hanging on the rock. There's a lot of the stuff in the MYST games where I'm like, this is something that I want in real life, you know? Like, I think it would be awesome to live in a house that was basically a cave, which, like, some of the characters in these games do. And then, you know, you have those, you know, blue glowing lamps and stuff up there. It's just, oh, that would be so cool. And now everybody can say, nerd! Most of the places where you look out at the ocean, they've got a little animation for the water. And I'd read online that they actually were supposed to have the water here animated, but it was one of the things that slipped through the cracks because they were working so hard to get this thing done on time, you know? And there's some people up there moving about. They're like, oh shoot, there's a stranger here. Get thee hence! So there's that little girl from earlier. Her mama just came and got her. I don't remember if you bump into them again. I think you do. And so this is the lake where there were the odd things in the water that I mentioned. There's the thingamadoodle over there that we opened up. Ah, gosh. Let me look at it. All right, that's where you get spoiled with 3D video games, right? Peak video game is when you're like, oh, hey, I want to look over there. And you can look over there. Whereas in a game like this, you're like, it's in between where I'm looking. Oh my god. And yeah, if we look down, you can see that the water has parted. And there are little spots like that all over this little lake. Now we're heading more toward the village proper. Ah, yeah. I think this is the home of that mom and daughter. Bugger off! Leave my house alone. And you can see they have like a retractable bridge type thing that they have retracted because I'm obviously so terrifying. Oh look, Gehn has a throne where he can overlook everything and do ceremonies. The little drums here and the chair are made to look like that whale creature I mentioned. And there's some Riven style fish a-cooking in there. And I love how this is all kind of Adobe. I didn't appreciate some of it until I moved from the East Coast out to the West for a while, you know. Just how interesting a lot of these things are. Like, you find ovens like this all over the place in the Southwest. And they're pretty nifty. I know, so descriptive. And one of the things I've got to point out is each time we trigger one of those videos, you know, that probably took days to render back then, right? But then on top of that, they had to render multiple copies of some of them. In this case, we already closed that platform over here. So they had to have a version of the video with the platform open and with the platform closed. And honestly, I think there are some other things in this scene that can change too. So depending on when you did it, you know, there could be multiple ways for that to go. Well, I don't have something just right yet. See, this is another one of those things where if it was 3D, we'd be able to peek in the window like a creep that we are. Okay, so another thing is, even just the still images, a lot of them, they had to render different versions because a thing may or may not be in a certain place. There's a couple of ways we can get places now. We could take the maglev that is down below the totem, or we can go back up here and use the minecart thingy over here. Whoop. Clicked a couple of times too many. So we can pull that lever and have a fun ride. Oops. So if you're watching and you have an opinion, I'd love to hear it. I'm gonna check if there's any messages. Yep. Okay, so I'm voting. I'm gonna go back. Let's see. I'm gonna go back up here. Go back down here. Oh, sorry guys. I'm scaring you again. That one's always so salty. Hey, you can see him going all the way out in the ocean. I think there was something out here. Oh, yeah, yeah. So... there's another one of those. So, what does that sound like, guys? I'll give you a hint here in a minute. Does that look like any particular shape to you? Oh, way down we haven't been before. Oh, hey. Now we're cooking. So when we lower the thingy up there. It won't let me look at. We can get in it from here. All right. That's how we do it. So there's the schoolhouse right there. All right, so I think I'm going to go back and get in that cart and do that first. So we want to go up to the logs, or the stumps, rather. And let's give it a shot. I actually had some anxiety the first time I did this, because I'm like, oh, sheesh. Oh, boy. And we're actually under the ocean right now. It's still one of the coolest things to me. Just one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Or had seen up to that point, rather. And it's still really cool. And here we've found another island. You imagine that? Okay, I'd like to point out that the thing we fell into is a wood chipper. Just pointing that out. I'm just glad that it wasn't on when our butts went into it. Like that, I feel like the whole butt thing could have been sad. I like my butt, I don't want to lose it. Do we have a way to change which direction something's flowing? I legitimately don't remember as well how to do this as I do some of the other things we've looked at. So the pressure's up. Doors sealed, obviously. Okay, so that turns off the heat. So I think there's no water coming over here. So, or whatever it is. I don't know if I don't remember if it's water or like natural gas. Hey, that was easier than I recalled. But I don't think I've done the whole thing. Yeah, because we got to be able to get down there. I think it's still got water in it. Yeah, I do remember not liking this one. So, I've been streaming the MYST games at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. I've not been sure if that's what's best for you guys or not. But if you have any preference... All right. So I actually don't know what I did. I know I spent a lot of time trying to figure this out the first time I ever played it. I didn't remember the solution. Oh, but I do need to turn off the heat. Don't want to cook in there. So I think we basically opened up all the things that allowed both the steam and the water out. Like vented it all somehow, but yeah, at least you can't pull the lever while you're in it. So, the reason why we did that, though... Oh, yeah, because I put the floor down. Alright, I need to go put the floor back up. I guess I didn't solve it as easily as I thought I did. There we go. So the whole reason we're doing all of this is because there's a part of this island that's supposed to be pretty inaccessible, right? And it's where, I believe it's where Gehn's work area is. Crawling through the dark tunnel. But because it's kind of a secure place, you have to kind of go the back way to get there. Hello, ocean. So normally the water that's being used in that boiler, which the whole thing is actually for making paper, it would all be vented out this way into the ocean over there. And there's the way back. And you can't open that from down below. So, yeah, no. Oh, actually, over there is where you can see Gehn's study. I think we're heading towards some reading time, folks. If you're ever playing the MYST games and you get stuck, make sure you've closed the doors. You see, the thing is, they even start using it in some of the later games as this whole, like, whatever door you open, you know, like, there's this whole thing with doors because the linking books are like a door to another world, right? But there's multiple times where something is referenced throughout the series about closing doors. Because once you go through a door, you never know what's going to follow you in, right? So you want to close the door. But what I find it too, like the significance it tends to have, is you don't see some things when there's a door closed over them, like this way. I could not find this for a hot minute. You can see what the symbol that's yellow on the spinning thing. Ooh, that's a little trippy. See? The door thing. You gotta do the door thing. Sneaky little devils. Keep being too soon. That's what she said. There we go. Forget, can you? Yeah, you can start it back up again. Okay, so the reason why we'd want to start them back up again is because the color symbols are important. If you weren't paying attention the first time, then you're going to be kind of in trouble. Alright, I'm going to take a bite here for a second. I'm sorry, folks. So, given the fact that we were allowed to climb up and look closely at the fan, means that it has some significance. And that is the power for the fan, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so I think you recognize that big golden sphere over yonder. Oh, there's where we came out of the ocean earlier. You can see there's another island over here to explore later. There's the rotating thingy that we could see from the temple of the last session. Yes, I left on the steam. All right. Okay, so we can get from this island to that island now without having to use a maglev or you know, any of that. Now again, in the original, because each island was on its own DVD, you'd basically have to switch discs halfway between the two islands we just traversed while you're on the bridge. So you're walking across the bridge, you get to a certain point, and it's like, please insert disc. I think it was 2 or whatever it was. But how do we get to you? And there was that one door we couldn't open that we can open now. Here we are, back where it all began. I don't remember if there's a room we can get to now that we couldn't before, or if we can just get through, if you know what I mean. And now we're back over here. We've already been in here. I gotta show you guys something, though. I told you Cho was okay. He gone, bruh. Wait a minute. That's right. We turned the gas on. Now we can move the thing. It's got a path or a key thing on it. All right. So I also took me forever to realize you could do that because I never thought to look. Okay, let's see. Go ahead and save this. I think I might be just about to hit one of the bad endings. Of course, I don't think I can, actually. Yeah, no, I can't yet. Okay. You have to open that door first. Alright, well, I guess let's go back to the Gehn's Island over there. Where his herb away from home is. I forget if there's a way... So yeah, that's the way back over there, but now I want to see if there's a way to get up here from down below. Right, there we go. So yeah, now on these two islands we can get pretty much wherever we need to. So each of these corresponds to a different island. I believe, though I might be mistaken, I think this is the island we're on. And this is the island, I think, where Gehn's office-y thing is. But yeah. So now from earlier in the game, last session, we can actually see that now if you push the button, the elevator that went up earlier has a second layer to it that we can also use to go down. And then we can get up to here. Come on, that had to be right. Soul Foundry, good to see you. Actually, you're talking about... Are you talking about the novels that came out for the game? I've read those. If you're talking about if I've read any of the journals or anything in the game yet, not this playthrough yet. But yeah, I played this back. Oof. I forget how long it's been now. For sure. I know that it was sometime in my late teens. Mid to late. Whoa. That sound transition was pretty sudden. You go from this Eesh. I dare say it might be locked. Okay. Sorry for the distraction. Okay, so that pan is off from earlier. So now what we can do is go through this tunnel. You get into our locked little room there. There's a lot of times in these games where I'm just glad somebody doesn't walk in and turn a lever, you know what I mean? Or pull a lever. So, now can begin a lot of reading. (87-728). Last week, while monitoring the situation of the villagers from the scope in my survey room, I observed one of the natives swim out to a small object that appeared to be floating, but anchored near the entrance to the bay. I ordered the object removed from the water for inspection. Several days later, however, I was imprisoned. I was surprised to see another floating there. The missing object had apparently and quite mysteriously been replaced with a new one overnight. I have long been aware of the existence of similar artifacts on the villagers' island, but have paid them little notice until now. Tomorrow I shall send surveyors to catalog the others. I've kind of been holding off on the reading until we got to this point, because I kind of figured all of the reading could be in one spot, and if people get bored with it, then we can skip it, yeah? So that's something we're going to be looking a little more at later. And we mostly are just getting to see that Gehn is a big-time science nerd, like myself. It's egg collection. Some of these others opened. They're not. Huh, I remembered them opening. Maybe it was something else I'm thinking of. Oh yeah, so this is a fun little toy. So there's water inside. And as it gets warm, it just goes up to the surface. Goes and floats at the top. There's going to be some stuff about that in the journal that we're going to read in a few moments. But this is a bookbinding tool. And this is one of those Easter eggs you can find, sort of. I guess Easter egg or error, whatever it might be. But this book with the question mark on it, that's a spot where somebody forgot to put a texture on the book. And this is called a blotter. You use this when you're writing with old, pen and ink. So that if there's any extra ink, you can dab it off with this thing, right? So the reason why I pointed it out is because I was enough of a nerd for these games that I made a replica of this. Because I use, calligraphy pens and dip the ink and do all the things. This is another bookbinding tool. So there's laboratory work going on here. There's bookmaking. There's all sorts of fun. I'm going in circles. That's the door that was locked earlier. Oh, and I forget where this... Because here's a maglev button. Oh yeah, it's the other door. Oh, and in here... we're going to find... It's a linking book that's been burnt. That also has some significance to the plot, sort of. I mean, pretty much everything does in this game. Everything. Okay, so we called the maglev over. And that maglev takes us to the that island. So now I'm going to start having to call them by name. Because there are basically names that people call these by. So there's the Temple Island, the Jungle Island, Survey Island, and Bookmaker's Island. So this is Gehn's personal journal. I wonder, does anybody care which journal I read first? Because technically we've been walking around with a journal the whole time. So we also have Atris's journal. So what we have here is the father's journal and his son's journal. I think we'll read the father's first. I think he came first. I'm horrible. Also, I'm here all night, folks. Here all night. Not really. I'm only going to be here for about another hour. Oh, wait. Actually, it's later than I thought. I'm only going to be here about another 20 minutes. How about I bore you with a little reading for the next few minutes? 82-2-13. The latest ink formulation has proven a failure. Even when writing in my most promising books, I obtain only the barest glimmer of a connection. It is frustrating to expend so much effort creating a blank book, only to end up destroying it when it doesn't work. There are days when the lab is uncomfortably warm from the flames of these failed attempts. The further I refine, there we go, each element, the formulations of the inks and paper, the physical dimensions of the books, the more I realize that the list of potential combinations is nearly infinite. It is during moments like these that I despair. Without access to Dunny, my long-term goals may never be accomplished. Nevertheless, there are avenues of research which remain to be explored. 8258. I am sorry. A little hard to read the calligraphy or the cursive a little bit. I'm like trying to speak into the mic and make sure I can see the words. And with my current setup, it's a little funky. I am discontinuing regular observations of the stars beneath the fissure. Although I've been able to track the dark cloud-like formations that migrate through the star field and have proven that their paths are cyclical, without proper instrumentation it is pointless to continue. My general theory concerning the nature of the fissure has remained unaltered since it first appeared. It seems that the fabric of this age has been buckled in a way that permits matter to be hospitably exchanged between two discrete but overlapping spaces, much like a link. But the apparent physical contradictions surrounding this juncture defy logical reason. The great column of wind that was formed when the fissure first appeared suggests a vacuum, as one might expect in space. Yet my early experimentations revealed the presence of a breathable atmosphere. That Atris and Catherine threw themselves into the void is further evidence that it might be safe to travel. But without knowing its true nature, I cannot take the risk myself. It is also difficult to say what would happen if it were to reopen, or no, if I were to reopen it after so long. But it is likely that the results would be catastrophic, given the changes that have occurred in this age since that time. Maintenance on the steam vent cap completed. Entry 83-210. I am extremely pleased with the continued success of this system. I believe the construction to have been true to the dunny designs of my memory, another example of the superiority of the dunny technology. It's ironic that Atris and Catherine unwittingly provided me with such a convenient source of power. Okay, so I think I kind of touched base on this a bit last session, but you know, Gehn is totally obsessed with dunny culture, and he himself is half dunny, half human. But he's kind of gone the I don't even know if I want to say it on the internet. He thinks they're superior for sure, right? And that has led him to do some very inhospitable things. Gehn is not a great. So I switched over to the ending soon, and I didn't have the audio set up on there. Such an amateur. But anyway, I'm still kind of getting things figured out as far as when is the best time. So if you would like to see more of the MYST franchise, and the time I'm currently streaming doesn't work for you, then go ahead and shoot me a message or something, you know? And this video is going to be going up on YouTube, so if you're watching this on YouTube, you can subscribe leave a like, leave a comment, give whatever feedback you want. I'm still growing things at the moment, so all of your feedback is very helpful. So, yeah, it's been another Mystic Monday. I think it was a fun time. I think we made some good progress, and I hope to see you again next week. So, for now, this is Skalliwag signing off.